run the universe backwards. Galaxies rush together, space shrinks, everything gets hotter and denser until about 13.8 billion years ago you hit a wall. We call it the Big Bang. And the obvious next question, what came before it, might be the single hardest question in all of science. Not because we are lazy, because the honest answer may be that before doesn't mean what you think. Tonight, what was there before the Big Bang? First, let's be clear about what the Big Bang actually was, because almost everyone pictures it wrong. It was not an explosion that went off in empty space. There was no empty space for it to go off in. The Big Bang was the moment that space itself, everything, everywhere, was packed into an unimaginably hot, dense state and began to expand. The galaxies are not flying away from a center. Space between them is stretching, and we are not guessing that this happened. We can still see the afterglow. Everywhere we look, in every direction, the sky hums with a faint microwave light. The cosmic microwave background, released when the universe was about 380,000 years old and finally cool enough to become transparent. We have measured it to extraordinary precision. We know the early universe was hot. We know it has been expanding for 13.8 billion years. That part is not in doubt. But here is the wall. That microwave glow is a curtain. Before it, the universe was an opaque fog of plasma. Light could not travel freely. So with light, we simply cannot see any earlier. The first few 100,000 years are hidden, and the first instant most of all. To ask what came before, we have to leave observation behind and follow the physics, and the physics gets strange. Start with the strangest possibility, and it comes from time itself. Stephen Hawking argued that asking what came before the Big Bang may be like asking what is north of the North Pole. If time began at the Big Bang, then there was no before. Not an empty before, not a dark before, just no such moment. The question dissolves. It is a profound idea and an honest one. Maybe the universe has a smooth beginning with no edge, and before is simply undefined. But most cosmologists think something did happen in that first sliver of a second. The leading idea is called inflation. In far less than a trillionth of a second, the infant universe is thought to have expanded exponentially, doubling and doubling and doubling, smoothing itself out and seeding the tiny ripples that later grew into galaxies. Inflation explains things we actually measure, but it raises its own haunting question: what set inflation off, and what was there an instant before it started? And one answer is wilder than the question. In many versions, inflation never fully stops. It keeps going in places forever, and our entire universe is just one bubble that stopped inflating inside a vastly larger, still inflating space, one of perhaps infinitely many bubble universes. If that is true, then before our Big Bang was simply the eternal inflation that birthed our bubble. We cannot see the other bubbles. We may never be able to. Then there is the idea that the universe did not begin at all. The Big Bounce. In this picture, a previous universe was contracting, collapsing inward, and instead of crushing into a true singularity, it reached a maximum density and bounced, becoming our expanding universe. Some versions make this cyclic. Expansion, contraction, bounce, again and again, with no first beginning and no final end. The Big Bang becomes just the latest in a long chain. There are stranger proposals still. One, from Roger Penrose, suggests that the far future of one universe, empty, cold, and timeless, becomes the Big Bang of the next, an endless sequence of cosmic acts. Another asks whether the universe could have simply appeared as a quantum fluctuation out of nothing, though physicists argue fiercely about what nothing even means, since their nothing still has the laws of physics in it. So which is it? Here is the honest part, and it is the whole point. We do not know. Every one of these, the no-boundary beginning, eternal inflation, the bounce, the cyclic cosmos, creation from nothing, is a hypothesis. Some are more popular than others. None has been confirmed, because the one piece of evidence that could settle it lives on the far side of that microwave curtain, in the first fraction of a second, in a regime where our two best theories, general relativity and quantum mechanics, stop agreeing with each other. That disagreement is not a small detail. To honestly describe the first instant of the universe, we would need a theory of quantum gravity, and we do not have a finished one. So the truthful map of the cosmos has a bright, well-measured region. The last 13.8 billion years, and then a hard edge, beyond which we have brilliant guesses and no confirmation. And maybe sit with how strange it is that we can even say that much. We have traced everything that exists back to its first second. We can describe the universe when it was a hot soup, younger than a heartbeat. We have found the wall, mapped right up to it, and we know exactly which question waits on the other side. That is not failure. That is science being honest about the deepest border it has ever found. So what was there before the Big Bang? Honestly, maybe nothing, because time itself began. Maybe an eternity of inflation. Maybe a universe before ours that bounced. Maybe a quantum flicker from a nothing that was not quite nothing. We have the questions sharpened to a point, and the answer is still on the other side of the oldest light in the sky. We could pick one and pretend it is settled. It would make a tidier story. But the true story is better. That the beginning of everything is still an open frontier, and we are the first creatures ever to stand at its edge and ask clearly what lies beyond. If you want the honest version of the cosmos, what we know, what we don't, and the difference marked clearly, this channel publishes a new one every week. Subscribe, and we'll go to the next impossible place together. One question before you go: do you think the universe had a true beginning, or has it always existed in one form or another? Tell me below.